lives for the better.
Our vision is to be a transformative platform that exposes lies and reveals the truth. Mind Changes International, we on a mission. Masking the falsehoods with every new edition. We're here to enlighten your mind with this vibration. Expose the lies, speaking truth, normal conversations. Mind Changes International, we on a mission. I'm masking the falsehoods.
Welcome to Mind Changes Podcast. I'm your host, Lamar Blakney. And listen, y'all, we got an exciting show. I have a very special guest. She goes by the name of Yolanda Stevens. Say hello to everybody on the platform. This is Yolanda. Listen.
Hello.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about some serious stuff today. So I want y'all to have y'all cap on. I want you to get ready. Listen. Check your attitude. We're talking about some real stuff. So Yolanda, how you feeling?
I am great. How are you doing? I can hardly hear you.
Listen, welcome to the Mind Changes Podcast platform. First, we've been working together for a long time. And so I'm excited because I've been gone for a while, y'all. But I'm back. But before we get started, I'm going to go ahead on and read this disclaimer, right? All right, so we got to get this out of the way. We got to get our business out of the way. All right. So now we're back to the podcast. So Yolanda, listen, nobody knows you up here but me. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hi everybody. My name is Yolanda, and I am in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I have been in this industry that we're going to talk about for about 20 years, and it's something that is very much needed in our community that we don't talk enough about. We're afraid to talk about it. We make excuses for why we don't do it. So yes, that's a little bit about me. I've been, like I said, my background is in education, so I enjoy educating people on a lot of different things. So
Gotcha.
that's who I am.
So listen, everybody, listen. If y'all want to communicate with us, listen. If you're on YouTube, you can just come on up here. Where's my mouse? Listen, if you're on the YouTube platform, you guys can dialogue with us live. We live. You can do it in real time. So this is episode 73. It's titled "No More Excuses." And so, family, listen. Today is not a comfortable conversation. This is not a feel good conversation. This is an episode. This ain't even an episode that you can casually listen to and move on from, because we're going to talk about some serious things. This episode is it. How can I say it? This episode should make you pause, right? Question yourself, and if you're being honest, you might lose a little sleep tonight, because today we are talking about responsibility, people. Responsibility, not the kind we post about, not the kind we talk about at funerals, not the kind we claim we have. We're talking about the kind of responsibility that shows up before tragedy, not after tragedy, before tragedy. So today's episode is titled "No More Excuses." No more. And and you know what, Yolanda, we're going to address some hard truths in our community. We're going to ensure that everything. We want to, how can I say it? We're going to talk about everything, right? We insure our cars. We're gonna talk about everything you insure. We insure our cell phones. We insure television, jewelry. Hey, some people even insure their dog. They got dog insurance, y'all. I'm trying to tell you. Even rent, even when we rent our furniture, we put insurance on that. But when it comes to our own lives, Yolanda, the
Yeah.
very thing our family depends on, we hesitate, we wrestle, we delay, we deflect, or we dismiss with this one word that I'm beginning to hate. I'm good. What does that mean? And guess what, y'all? And our generations are paying the price for it So Yolanda, we're going to set the foundation today, right? So, being that we having this conversation, why does it matter, Miss Yolanda?
Well, Lamar, to be honest with you, what's really heartbreaking about this is most families they fall behind financially because they didn't work hard. Let's just be honest, and they fall behind because someone didn't plan. So we hear if you don't if you don't make a plan, you actually plan to fail, right?
That's
So I
true.
think that's probably what happens a lot in previous generations. They protected their households, especially in different cultures. But this generation wouldn't be scrambling, fundraising, GoFundMe.org. They love that GoFunding,
Mm-hmm.
just or starting from zero every time someone passes. So inheritance isn't. It's not just money, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's positioning yourself for stability and to have options, not just for you, but for again for future generations. And we don't do that. And too many families inherit debt, right? We see it all the time. You want to leave something for your children in our community. What do you leave? You leave debt,
That's right.
right? Then confusion and trauma instead of provision.
Got you. And here's the thing: how we know a lot of our families fail. If you're not a millionaire, hold your hand up. The reason you're not a millionaire is because your great 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 grandfather and your great 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 grandmama didn't leave anything for their children. And then their children didn't leave anything for their children. And then their children didn't leave anything to their children, which is my father. What did you leave me? Nothing. When we have a responsibility, right? Because if we go to the Bible is clear, people. The Bible
Mm-hmm.
is clear. So let's talk Bible, right? Because responsibility is not a modern idea, people. It's not a modern idea. The Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Proverbs 13:22. Now I'm gonna say it again. A good man, a good woman leaves an inheritance for their children's children, right? So this verse, it doesn't say a good man leaves memories. It didn't say a good man leaves, how can I say, memories. A good man leaves love. It doesn't say a good man leaves good intention. It says inheritance, right? Planning, people, is biblical. Provision is biblical. Preparation is biblical. Faith is not the absence of planning, right? Faith is not the absence of planning. Faith is having wisdom before the storm comes. And
Mm-hmm.
this is why, as a life insurance professional, I go into all kinds of homes, Yolanda. I've seen
Right.
stories where people did not protect themselves, and they gave me this one word that I hate to this day. Oh, I'm good. That means get out. I don't want to talk about it. I'm good. And you're not. And we're going to talk about that, Yolanda. I had man, let's talk about this right quick. I had a client of mine who insurance was about to lapse here in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Insurance was about to lapse. I tried everything I could to get by her home to get her insured, right? Get her,
Mm-hmm.
well, not to get her insured, to get her payment taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what happened with that? I could never reach her. Every time she told me to come by, I couldn't reach her. And a week ago, I get a call. I get a call from the funeral home. Say, hey, you insured Mr. Da 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 da. I ain't gonna say if it was a Mr. or a Miss, but you insured da 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 da. I said, you know what? That name sounds familiar. It really sounds familiar. I said, I can't. I said, I don't know. I said, listen, man. Here's the number to the insurance company. Call them. But after driving around for a little bit, I was like, why her name sounds so familiar? Well, guess what? She never got back up with me to get that taken care of. And here's the crazy thing: it's been 3 years. She would have been in full benefit, Yolanda. Her
Wow.
family would have been taken care of. So, see, when we die, we leave other people behind worrying about what we didn't do. And
Mm-hmm.
I hate to think of what happened in that situation with her family who had a dead policy. They had a dead policy, but they believed that their loved one was faithfully paying on. See, the Bible never teaches us to be reactive. It
Right.
teaches us to be prepared.
Yeah.
That's what it teaches. And Yolanda, you got a couple of stories that you can share, right?
Oh yes. I've had it happen multiple times. I went by to see a gentleman that thankfully at the time, which was good, that he had taken out a policy. I don't think he had it maybe 4 months, maybe 5 months. The only thing is he wanted to increase it because he wanted to leave something for both of his daughters.
Hmm.
So he ended up passing away.
What?
So he never got a chance to increase the policy. So now he had one policy that was left to one daughter, but not the other one.
Oh wow.
So, things like that, but we don't plan. And then, I've had it happen that, people take out policies, they don't keep it. Oh, then they pass away unexpectedly. And we're not talking about, old people. We're talking about people that's probably like maybe around our age. So, yeah, I see this stuff. It happens all the time. So, still one story, one after another, and you've been doing this as long as I have, so the same. We kind of share the same stories. It happens over and over again
Yeah.
because people don't see the upfront benefit of it. But we try to explain to them based off our experience in the industry how fast we know like people are checking out left and right.
Oh yeah.
You can't control that,
Yeah. And it's inevitable. None of
right?
us are getting off of this planet alive. And you know the crazy thing is, Yolanda, I had a guy, right? He gave me such a difficult time. A difficult time. Man, I don't need it. I'm good. I got it at my job and da 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 da. Well, he gets sick, loses his job, and my phone is blowing off the ring. I'm like, why does this guy keep calling me? Because I'm not going to answer the call. But he called so much, I had to answer the call. So when I answered the call, he was like, "Hey, Mr. Blakney, man, you still sell life insurance?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, when can you come by here?" So in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, this is just a total different personality. This ain't the same guy who put me out of his house and told me that he was good. And it's about 6 months later. And I'm like, I'm not driving all the way to Raleigh. Let me call this guy back. I said, "Hey,
Hmm.
sir." I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Yeah, man, what time you gonna be here?" I said, "It's gonna be an hour. I gotta ask you a question, man." I said, "The last conversation we had, you put me out your house." "Yeah, I know, man, I was this and that." I said, "No, no." I said, "Come with it. What's wrong?" He said, "Why you asking me that question?" "Because something's happened." Well, man, I've been out of work for 6 months, man, and I found out I got a stage 4 prostate cancer, man. But you said that insurance was immediate death benefit, yeah, for a healthy person. I said, see, you didn't want them when you were sick, when you was healthy. Now you're sick, you want to make the phone call. And listen, people, this is what we do. I get a lot of phone calls, Yolanda, from children of parents. "Hey, I want to get some insurance for my mama." First thing I ask them, what happened? What happened? What's wrong? Why now do you want it? And the sad thing about this, Yolanda, the sad thing, people that's listening, you may go past this podcast and think it's nothing, but I guarantee you it's going to happen in your family. If it don't happen to you, it's going to happen to somebody in your family. So, Yolanda, I want to talk about the big question, right? Let's let's talk about the big question.
Yeah, so it's uncomfortable. Again, we're talking about something that's very uncomfortable. We don't like to talk about death. We don't like to talk about dying because what we grew up, older people say, "I don't want to put a price on somebody's, body," or they can't. And all actuality is true, but the truth of the matter is somebody has to do it, and it's not that you're trying to put value on life. We're just trying to prioritize to be proactive instead of reactive. So, why do some people insure everything except for themselves? Why will someone insure a car they don't even own outright but refuse to insure the life that the car depends on? Who's making the payments? So, why will someone protect a phone they replace every 2 years? Because we know, you know, they come out with something new every couple of years. We protect that phone, but not protect the income their children depend on for decades.
That's
The
correct.
answer is simple. It's painful, but it's simple. Because life insurance forces us to face our mortality, and responsibility makes us face our accountability.
Yeah. And that's another sad part. And it is raining in our community. Yeah, it's in every community, but in our community, I'm telling you, our people have a way of just really not wanting to focus on what they should be focusing on. And I'm telling you, I don't want to leave my family with nothing. And all my family members know you better not die and call me. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Die and call me. I don't care if I got $1 million. You know I've been selling life insurance. And here's the crazy thing. You ready to hear this, Yolanda?
Tell me.
Not one of my family members have purchased life insurance from me, and I have a lot of family. Not one. Now, I'm pretty sure they got it from somebody, but it didn't get it from me, right? It didn't get it from me. So, what about you on your side?
Same story. I've had people to support me in early on. Hey, I'll do this. I'll help you. But it seems like every time, because we make some changes
Mm-hmm.
in the insurance business, right? We make some changes. We go through what we go through,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, they'll help you. You have one person that may help you no matter what you're selling, right? They'll help you, but then, like you said, everybody in your family knows that you sell life insurance, but they'll buy it from someone else besides you.
Yep.
It's like, okay, well, why do we support everybody but our own people? Why do we support everybody else except for our family? Because I'm sure, just like you support everybody,
Mm-hmm. I do.
but the person that supports everybody doesn't get the same support in return. So yeah, I've seen that, and it happens. And like you, hey, listen, you know what I have to contribute? $1, okay, $1. I'll give you
Uh,
that, but that's it.
I ain't doing that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I know.
I'm
Yeah,
not doing
but
that.
I want to give it to you in all pennies.
Yeah. And here's the crazy part, y'all. Somebody's watching this podcast right now, and guess what? They don't care because when they did, they don't have to answer the question, man. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Right? Life insurance is more than just paying some money to somebody because, how can I say it? Because you don't want to. I got to fix your screen there, girl. You don't want to leave somebody rich. You should want to leave somebody in a better position than what they are right now. That's what you should want to do. You should want to leave somebody in a better position than what they are right now. So I want to talk about excuses we hear every day, Yolanda,
Hmm.
and why they are dangerous. Right? Excuses we hear every day, why they are dangerous. So let's talk about the excuses in family. If any, if, and now listen, if y'all listen to this, if any of one of these sounds familiar, uh, yeah, that means I threw a rock in the crowd, hit the right person, right? So
Oh yeah,
yeah, I got it on my job. Now it's only good on your job as long as you're working for that company.
that's
And
right.
what can happen between the time you work there and the time you leave, your health can change, right? Your job is not permanent. Layoffs happen, companies close, Yolanda, benefits change, and when we leave the job, the insurance stays with them because that's a group coverage plan, right? Or my mama got it on me. First of all, you grown enough to have it on yourself. How can your mama have it on you? Did you sign any paperwork? No, but she said she got it on me. You heard that before, right, Yolanda?
Oh yes, absolutely,
And
yes.
and listen, that was the person's responsibility, not their mama, right? When you was a
Right.
child, it was theirs then. So if you didn't, people sign the paperwork. If you weren't present with the agent, if you don't know how the policy, what the policy details are, or the policy provisions, there's a strong chance there is no policy on you.
That's right.
Oh, my kids got it on me. That's even worse. Because
Yeah.
as a parent, why are you letting your children handle a responsibility that's yours? The
Yeah.
Bible didn't say, hey, children, leave an inheritance for your parents. It says, leave an inheritance for your children's children. That's what it says, right? That's not love. That's passing responsibility downward instead of upward, people. Children are not supposed to bury parents financially unprepared, right? Or this one word, and you heard me say it before, I'm good. You hear that a lot, right, Yolanda?
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah,
good.
I'm
And you know what
good.
that means? I'm good doesn't mean you're covered. It means you're uncomfortable.
Yeah, somebody's texting me, but you keep talking. Yeah, I got folks is start reaching out to me as soon as I get on this podcast, but it's cool.
It happens.
Hold on, close. Yeah, so you know we're doing this podcast, whether you get it from one of us or somebody else. We're doing this podcast to make people aware, to inform people who make these outlandish excuses, who don't really want to be responsible. Hold on, let me press it back so they know not to bother me again. All right, so let's get back to this thing. All right, so you know, that like I say, I'm good doesn't mean you
Hmm.
covered.
That's
I'm
right.
good don't mean you covered. Okay, why they keep trying to call me back? Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
It
good
just
doesn't mean
means
you covered, right?
hmm.
It
Yeah.
means you're uncomfortable. See, when somebody
Hmm.
say that to me, I said, "Why are you so uncomfortable?" I'm good is more of a deflection, right?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah. A
shield.
shield.
It's
Yeah.
a it's a way to, as I say, end the conversation without addressing the true issue.
Right.
And we've buried too many people who said, "I'm good" and died bad.
Hmm.
Died bad. And and one of the things that really disturbs me, my son is calling me. Hold on. So there must be
Oh, that's
something going on. I can't ignore my kids. So Yolanda, go and talk while I come back here.
yeah. So I think sometimes when people say that I'm good, I think sometimes they just want to say that, hey, um, I want you to leave because I don't want to hear about it. But again, because I think you actually threw that rock at the glass house and it came and it landed in front of them. So I'm good doesn't means that I don't want to talk about it. I need you to go because yes, I'm uncomfortable and you just stepped on my toes. I don't have insurance, but I think I need to get it, but I don't want to get it from you because you're the one who called me out. So um, yeah, we hear that a lot. And the people, like you said, that say I'm good are the ones who probably end up passing away without any coverage at all. And, just to go back, when people say, hey, I have it on my job, well, how long do you plan on working? You're going to work there for the rest of your life? And let's say if you leave that job 10 years from now, 15 years from now, you're 10 to 15 years older than you were when you started. So now it's going to be as expensive. Well, you could have just got it on your own outside of work and didn't even have to deal with it. We
Yeah,
want to get insurance once we get older, and it's quadruple.
yeah,
Then yeah, the price it's a lot more expensive than it would have been if you just sort of taken it out when we had the first opportunity to talk to you or do it when you're younger.
yeah. And people, I want y'all to know this. When you purchase life insurance, there is a 2-year contestability period, right? That is a real thing. That is where if an insurance agent come in your home and doesn't do the proper job, start ignoring things that they should be putting on application, it can put you at risk, right? So I want to talk about some tragedies we've seen as life insurance agents. All right, hold on.
Hmm.
Am I going past you too fast? Hold on, let me see. So I'm looking at my notes here. Looking at
Yeah,
my notes.
we things that we've seen as agents. We sat with families who
Yeah,
swore they had coverage till the paperwork came
yeah.
back.
So Yolanda, what are some of the tragedies that you've seen as an agent?
Well, let's see, the agent. I'm just gonna be honest and call it what it is, right? We're telling the truth, no excuses. You're 300 pounds. There's a there is a height and weight requirement. It makes a difference on whether you get approved, where it's with something you can afford, or versus you may get, and I guess we'll talk about that later. Something is a guaranteed issue or something is modified. because you're over the weight requirements.
Mhm.
Okay. And, Lamar, you talked about it earlier that, somebody had cancer and all of a sudden, oh, now they want insurance. It does not matter how much money you have.
Mhm.
Okay. That's the money the insurance company doesn't want. So yeah, that's some of the tragedies. The agents didn't tell the truth, or you did not tell the truth to the agent when they ask you about the medications you take. Oh, I don't take anything. Well, there's a database.
Mhm.
If you've ever had a prescription, you've ever picked it up from the pharmacy, they have a whole database with all of your information where they store it. Okay, so it doesn't matter where you're at in this country. Anybody at it, they can pull it up anywhere in the country and
Mhm.
see what prescriptions you had, and they'll tell you when you picked it up. So that's a tragedy because during that 2 year contestability period, guess what? They're looking. You know, they're not giving out money. Okay,
Yeah, that's right.
they need you to be honest. So anything that happens after the 2 years, hey, the insurance company, they're gonna pay out. But
Yeah.
within that 2 years, tell them. Be upfront, be honest with your agent because guess who's gonna suffer if something happens to you within the 2 years? Your family.
Mhm. Yeah. And
Your family.
yeah, and the reason why we up here today, Yolanda, you just had somebody pass, right?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Did they have insurance?
No, 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 they didn't.
Yeah.
They did
And
not
this
have
happened what, this
insurance.
week or last week?
Yes. This week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. See,
Policy took the policy out, didn't keep it, made a couple of payments, let the policy lapse. And, again, we look for excuses. We'll pay everybody and everything else except for our life insurance.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
listen, I've sat down with families who swore they had coverage until the paperwork came back, right? We've seen people with policies that didn't understand, policies that lapsed, policies that didn't do what they thought. We've watched families discover too late that the confidence is not coverage, right? The
Yeah.
confidence is not coverage. That's what I want to say. Confidence is not coverage. And if an agent doesn't come back, I don't care who you are. If you got a policy and you hadn't seen your agent after you got that policy and they didn't go over the policy provisions, there are so many companies out there that have different plans that do different things.
Hmm.
So I'll name, I can't say the company up here, but there's one that sells a modified whole life policy, right? Look at
Hmm.
that adjective, modified. What is being modified, right? Well, it can either be the premium or the coverage. Something's going to be modified, the premium or the coverage, right? I look at this lady's policy, and guess what it says? After 3 years, she had 15,000. After 3 years, it was going to drop down to 7,500, but the premium is going to stay the same. Well, guess what was modified on there? The premium. Listen, when y'all see policies that says adjustable, flexible, premium life insurance, that's a universal life policy if it's not sold to you correctly. And I know this sounds like Spanish, but my name not Julio. I know it sounds like Spanish, but if it's not sold to you correctly, they should be calling you and say, "Hey, Mr. Lamar, um, because of the mortality rate, we need to, we need to take your life insurance premiums up. Come on, Holmes." But they don't do
Why?
that because in the
Yeah.
contract they just take it from the cash,
Yeah.
and then after they deplete the cash, you have no more life insurance.
Yeah.
This is why people, you need to have somebody to check what you have. So Yolanda, let's break down the confusion. Why people need a good agent.
You need an agent. 1-800, da 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 da. Every time you call that number, you're going to get somebody different.
Mm-hmm.
You need an agent, let's be clear, because there's no one size fits all policy, right? It's not cookie cutter.
Mm-hmm.
You may hear terms like term insurance, whole life, universal life, modified whole life, and people assume that they're protected.
Hey, Yolanda, let's
But
talk
the real
about
policy,
Yolanda.
okay, go ahead. Yeah,
Let's talk about term.
yeah.
Let's talk about term. What that means and and what that means when you have a policy that says the word term.
Hey, Lamar is renting a house, right? You
Mm-hmm.
never own the house. Someone always has the keys. So when you think about term, it's only if you have a lease,
Hmm.
and once that lease expires, that's it. Okay, you have nothing to show for it. If you don't use the building during the lease, that's your problem.
Hmm.
If you don't die during the term of the policy, whether it's 10 years, 20, 30 years, guess what? All the money you put into that policy goes back to the insurance company. Let's just be honest.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
so that's what a term policy is.
Can
It's
I
like
ask you
renting
this?
a house, renting a car. You never own the deed. You'll never get the deed. You'll never get the title to that car unless you pay it off.
Yeah. And I use an analogy, and ladies should understand this. When you're pregnant for a 9 month what term?
Term,
After the term, you're no longer pregnant. Well, after this term, you no longer have any life insurance.
right?
So
That's
it's the
it.
same thing. So let's talk about whole life.
Okay.
That adjective,
Whole life.
whole life.
Yes. Whole life. You have it for your whole life. As long as you pay the premium, you'll have it for your whole life. Whole life policies do not increase. Okay, what you pay today is what you'll pay tomorrow, as long as you have the policy.
That's right. That's
It's
right.
permanent.
Okay. And I talked about a universal life, and I've already talked about a modified whole life. But let me share this with you. All four of these term, whole life, universal life, and modified whole life, all of them have their place in our lives. So let me explain when you want a term policy, right? Hey, I have
Hmm.
a $200,000 house. I got 4 cars. My kids, I want them to go to college. I want to make sure if something happens to me, my wife can survive for 5 years. It's going to take us 30 years to be debt free. Well, guess what you do? You go get a 30-year term policy. So that if something happens to you within those 30 years, guess what? You can secure your family and pay off everything because, hey, I don't need it after 30 years.
Yeah.
That's what a term is for. But then you get your whole life because it covers your whole life. Get it while you're young because it's never going to change.
Yeah.
Insurance is based on age and mortality. Mobility, what is age and mobility. How old you are and how healthy you are, right?
Yeah.
So, but the wrong policy is just as dangerous as no policy.
Yeah. That's right.
That's why everyone needs a licensed agent like one of us to review what they have, right? Not a guess, not an assumption, not something you heard from a cousin, but somebody to come and go over the policy provisions with you. It's a contract, people, and it says things in it. It says things in it.
Yeah. And Lamar, I think when you said, it's not something you heard from a cousin, we like to take advice from people who didn't take the test, right? I mean, we didn't just, say, hey, we want to be an agent. I think people forget that we have to put in a certain amount of hours. We have to take a test by the state
Mhm.
to become licensed. Like, you have to pay for
That's
this.
right.
So why would you don't take your car to your cousin if they're not a mechanic? Just because I know how to change, like maybe I know how to change a transmission, but doesn't mean that I actually know how to change the transmission. So why? Because we're talking about our life. Why would I ask my unlicensed cousin, my cousin who's never ever had to be accountable with the state
Mhm.
for the decisions that they're making, advice that we give, because we have to be accountable
That's right.
with the state that we're licensed in, for the decision, for the advice that we give to you as an agent. So that definitely holds us accountable. So we have an obligation to make sure that we go over the everything, the policy provisions, if you
Mhm.
would, and explain it so you understand it.
Yeah. And let me share something with y'all. This is a real true story. So I went to this lady's house and she told me, yeah, my insurance good. My son is a lawyer. I said, yeah, he studied law. He didn't study life insurance. No, he knows contracts. He knows all this. I said, man, I will discredit your son in 30 seconds. Put him on the phone. No, because he's a lawyer. He knows everything about everything life insurance. I said, ma'am, I said, listen, no disrespect to your son. I'm sure he's a lawyer. That's a hard test to pass, but he don't study life insurance. So she
Right.
says, well, I'm gonna call him right now. I said, so let me ask you this: if I discredit your son, will you at least let me take a look at what you have? She said, yeah, if you can discredit him. So he gets on the phone, right? I put him on speakerphone. He said, hey, how you doing, sir? I said, yeah. I said, listen. He said, I'm a lawyer, man, and I know everything about life insurance. You might well leave my mama home right now. I said, okay. If you know everything about life insurance, I need you to answer this one question. Yeah, what's that? I said, what's a justifiable whole life policy? Well, a justifiable whole life policy, he went to talking. I said, you finished? Yeah. I said, no such thing. I said, man, but you say your son is a lawyer. There's not such thing as a justifiable whole life policy.
All right.
I said, well, what's a universal life policy, sir? Um, well, it means it covers all. I said, somewhat, but what is it? Um, he kept umming me. And I looked at her. I said, see, now if I ask him something about law, oh, he'll come out with that. I said, because you have to go to school for this.
All right.
Your cousins and your uncles, they can tell you what they want to tell you unless they have experience in something about life insurance. They might have a life experience that they kind of know what it was because they found out the hard way. Or
Yeah.
maybe they just really understood it. See, people, we have to let our guard down and let somebody look at something, because when you die, you can't get up and argue about it. Right? So
That's
listen,
right.
Yolanda, enough about that. Listen, if anybody wants to hear more about what we do, that's the number up there. Text me. If you're in the Charlotte area, back there, hey, call Yolanda, text me. I'll get it to Yolanda. If you're here, text me. But we're going to talk about some agents right now, right? Let's talk to the agents, Yolanda,
Okay.
right? Because too many agents fail because, how can I say, people say no, right? But because agents stop talking, right? When they hear I'm good, they think it's the end of the conversation. Really, it's the beginning of education for me, right?
Yeah.
Agents fail when they walk away from, how can they walk away instead of asking the right questions, right? When they
Yeah.
when they don't qualify,
Yeah.
when they don't explain, when they don't challenge comfort. And yes, we've lost clients who told us they were good and then they died. We lost, and that burden is not on the agent. That burden is no, that burden is something that an agent won't forget. And I'll share this, Yolanda. There was a guy, and I'm not gonna say the city because people probably heard about this accident, but I'm just gonna say Virginia, just so I'm gonna put the guy's business out there. This man kept calling me for life insurance, and every time I set an appointment, he was a truck driver. Every time I set an appointment to go meet with him, he like, man, listen, I just got called for a load. Man, I got to hit the road, because Sundays was the only day that I could reach him.
Mm-hmm.
It went on for like 6 weeks. I said, you know what? I'm not going to see him no more. So he called me this time on a Saturday. Hey man, listen, Sunday morning, man, you come up here and get me straight, man. I promise you, I want the insurance. I'm ready for it, man. I got the money. It's no problem. I'm the only one work. I got 4 kids, man, and my wife, man, she don't work. So I want to make sure if something happened to me on the road, my family's protected. I said, well, how much coverage do you want? He says, man, I need 500,000. I only owe 100,000 on my home. I got a couple of cars. I want to make sure my kids go to college, and if something happened to me, my wife can go to school and get some education. Wow, he said, because that's all I can afford, because I gave him the premium. Well, I didn't go because I was in my feelings, Yolanda. Man, I've been up here 6 times. Every time I get prepared to come to you, you give me an excuse, right? I didn't go. So I'm watching the news, and there's a trucker who got blown off a bridge. I'm like, wow. I'm not even thinking, there's a million truckers out here, right? For a trucker to get blown off a bridge, I'm not even thinking about him. So something said, you know what? I'm in this area today. I'm gonna go by and talk to his wife. Maybe if I talk to his wife, he'll get the insurance and stop keep putting me off. Knock on the door. See this ribbon? I was like, somebody must be having a baby. But I forget they put different color ribbons for that too. So I knock on the door. She comes to the door. She says, "Hey, how you doing?" I say, "Hey, I'm here to see." I'm just gonna say Mr. Joe. She says, "Why are you coming to see him?" I say, "Because I've been trying to reach him for the last 3 weeks to get him some life insurance. He told me he was gonna be on Sunday." I said, "But I just got tired of keep coming back, and he keep telling me that he got a load." And she just shook her head. She says, why didn't you come back? I said, because he told me like 6 times. And every time he tell me, I'm halfway to y'all house. And y'all don't live close. Y'all about almost 2 hours away. She said, well, I wish you would have came. I said, why? She said, because my husband died
Mm.
3 weeks ago.
Wow.
He died on a Thursday. I would have wrote
Wow.
the policy on a Sunday. And so after that, I said, I felt like I failed that family because I was in my feelings, Yolanda. I
Mm.
felt like I failed that family because he was ready. He was ready. He wasn't ready when I wanted him to be ready, but he was ready.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, if you're an agent out there, listen, when you go into a house, you can't play with people.
Right.
You have to inspire them to take out a policy for their family. You cannot fail them. And that thing bothered me for a long time because in actuality, I failed that family. I failed him
Yeah.
because he had a legitimate excuse. He said he'll get a load out of anywhere. That's how he was feeding his family. I
Yeah.
took it personal. Really, he just was trying to fit me into his small window.
Yeah.
Right. So
Wow.
this is why, as an agent, we have to keep moving.
Yeah.
We have to keep moving. So Yolanda, let's talk about the truth that should keep you that should keep somebody up tonight.
Oh wow. Okay. So the truth is that here's the truth. It should make you uncomfortable, right? If something happened to you tonight, your family would not grieve peacefully, right? So they would panic. They would scramble and they would struggle. So there's there's no reason why I should be able to go to sleep and knowing that, hey, I haven't taken responsibility for the things that I need to do
Mm-hmm.
as an individual. Because I just kind of just throw this in real quick. I've talked to people, especially you talk about primary breadwinners, and that person, he passed away, but it was an accident. So then we got something else. That's a whole different type of coverage that goes along with that, and we don't do families justice when we leave that accidental coverage off of their policies,
That's right.
because you can double that. Imagine what kind of situation that family would have been able to be in. So we want to make you uncomfortable, not because you didn't love them, but because you didn't prepare.
That's right.
He put it off, you put it off, being in your feelings, and it's just like, okay, well, you have to put this is not a in your feelings type of business, right? We don't have time to be in our feelings, because if you get in your feelings, let's just be honest, you won't go out there to see anybody. You won't go out there to see somebody that needs you, and every opportunity is an opportunity. You talk to everybody. I
Yep.
met a lady, and this is, back to what you're saying when you're talking about a story, and she put me off, but I ran into her, and I was like, ooh, she was probably about 2 steps from being on oxygen.
Wow.
But I knew that, looking at her condition, somebody, or she had been denied insurance before.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, she looks like she might need insurance, but don't be afraid to agents, you know, don't be afraid to talk to people, talk to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
She's a client now to this day. I've been to her house. We've been to, we do things for people sometimes, because being an agent is not just about being an agent. Sometimes we become family with these people,
Yeah.
right? We sit down with them. These are long-term relationships that we're talking about, and we end up doing some things for them from time to time, because they'll call you for stuff, and we don't want them to be forgotten, because guess what, they're going to refer you to somebody else. So build that relationship with people. So yeah, we want to make you uncomfortable. Don't leave, as they say, don't leave no stone unturned. Every opportunity is an opportunity.
That's true. And listen, if y'all watching this, hey, if you had a job and that's all you have insurance on your job, you already failed. If you're past 50 years old and you don't have anything to really secure your family, you already failed. So, reach out to us. Reach out to one of us. The number up there, you can text it. One thing I want to say is this: this episode isn't about fear at all. It's really about responsibility. It's about breaking generational patterns. It's about protecting households. It's about saying, how can I say, it ends with me. No more excuses. No more deflections. No more, I'll do it later. Later is not guaranteed, people. And this episode made you uncomfortable? Good. Because it's supposed to be that way, right? That discomfort is wisdom knocking at your door. Reach out, ask questions, get educated, because love without preparation is incomplete. And responsibility delayed is responsibility denied. So we have to really, really, really work on getting our community right. Now, Miss Butler says, love that, Yolanda. So, Miss Butler, I saw your comment. What did she say that you love? If you can kind of hit back to me on that, about what you love. So you said something, Yolanda, that one of our viewers said they love. And I'll put it up on the screen so you can see it. How am I saying? Oh, let me put it up there. Okay. There we go. Can you see it?
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so she responded. So listen, people, we did this because too many of our folks are biting the dust. Too many of our children are trying to figure out how to bury our parents. Too many of our parents are trying to figure out how to bury our children. It is time for our community to stand up and really, really take responsibility when it comes to life insurance. It's not a game, it's real. People are dying every day. You know what, Yolanda? I should have put the time clock, the world time clock up here while we were talking.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I will on the next episode. I'm gonna put the time clock up here so you can see people are dying. As I just said, people are dying. About 100,000 people just died. So listen, I got people calling me. I got people really, really trying to reach out to me right now. So Yolanda, listen, is there any last words you have?
Do your family a favor. Don't cause them what is it? Chaos, the confusion. Not having life insurance. You have to put it all together after now you're grieving because they didn't have life insurance, and you're grieving because now I got to figure out what I'm going to do next and how I'm going to make it without you.
Yeah. And listen, you can't sell them chicken for they get $7,500 behind the restaurant.
That's right.
You can do GoFundMe, but that just tell everybody that you failed or that loved one failed to protect yourself. So listen, no matter what you think of me, what you think of Yolanda, who you believe we represent, I'm telling y'all better keep God and Christ first in your life. And this is the Mind Changers Podcast.
We told y'all we came to expose the lies and reveal the truth. We told y'all we bring in biblical principles of factual truth. We told y'all we came to expose the lies and reveal the truth. We told y'all we bring in biblical principles of factual